Hello everyone, welcome to Shooting in the Woods Part 1. And you're going to have to put up with Carl's wonderful camera work and our ad-libbed discussions here going on for this video. And we're going to talk about kind of our experience as beginning shooters. There's a lot of videos out there, and I think a lot of them do not necessarily come from beginning shooters. They are focused for beginning shooters, which can, be a little confusing sometimes, and you can be a little bit overwhelmed, but we don't know what we're doing. So we're with you.
Which is not entirely accurate. We have taken classes and tried to educate ourselves as much as possible to know what we're doing, but we are beginning shooters, and so we're coming from the perspective of beginning shooters, which I think sometimes people who've been shooting for a long time forget what was hard to figure out when you were a beginner.
Right, and just kind of to show you guys the learning process. So, we're going to make a lot of mistakes. Like, we're going to shoot 4 times and miss 4 times in a row from about 20 feet away. That's just what happens. But we're trying to learn. We're going through the process as well as possible. We're trying to get the training. We're trying to do the practice. And we're just, having fun with it.
And also, just so you know, there's no expectation to be perfect at the beginning. The expectation is that you understand the safety requirements of what you're doing, because that is really important. But, you're going to miss. And sometimes you're going to do some things that make you feel stupid, and that's okay. It's part of the learning process. So don't judge yourself for it.
So I guess as we move forward, this is our three target steel setup, which was the first time. This is actually the first time we went out and shot it. It's much more satisfying than just kind of shooting inside at a paper target for obvious reasons you guys can hear. Recently I just saw a commercial. I think it was Black Rifle Coffee Company, I think. Those guys are pretty funny, but for the holidays, they had a bunch of steel targets that were different size, and they had letters painted on them that were notes, and they were going between the two of them, bum, 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 and they had kind of the tone. It wasn't great, but it was, the tone of the song. And I thought that was funny. Anyway, so Dory, I guess as we're starting off here with you, can you kind of just lead us through the process of why are you shooting a handgun? What kind of handgun do you have, and how do you like it? What do you think about it?
Sure. So the reason why I'm shooting a handgun, I suppose, is sort of a long story, but to tell it in brief, Carl has been a shooter for a little while longer than I have.
A couple years, yeah.
And we basically had guns in the house. And the last time I shot a gun was when I was in summer camp when I was in middle school. So it has been a while. And that's not safe. If we have guns in the house, I should know how to use them safely and appropriately. So he signed me up for a gun course at a local shooting range. And I took the course somewhat hesitantly, but once I got there and once I started shooting, I really enjoyed it. and then I started going more often and really kind of fell in love with it. And then for my birthday, Carl got me my first handgun, which is the SIG P320, which I'm shooting right here. I shot several different models before I settled on this one. There were others that I enjoyed, but just as soon as I got this one on the range, I knew that this was the gun for me. It just felt right. Regardless of any of the stats or whatever, this one just felt right, and I knew that I could shoot it well, and I could learn on this model. So
yeah, and I mean, as far as I remember, what we wanted to you once you kind of went to that class and had a little bit of an experience shooting my semi-automatic pistol, we were going to get you a 357 just for the woods, because you were comfortable with the bigger round, and that wasn't the issue. So we went to the firing range and we rented a couple different guns, a couple revolvers, couple of semi-automatics, 357s, 9mm, some 45s, and it was, if I remember correctly, you were looking at the 9mm shield because you decided that the 357 revolver that wasn't working for you. You weren't comfortable with it one way or another. And so we decided, well, maybe we should get you like a purse carry gun or something like that, because the concealed carry was for your your class satisfied the concealed carry requirement. And then we shot the Shield. We shot a couple other smaller guns, and the SIG 365 was up there on the list. And then you held this 320 compact, which is basically a full size, and not quite as big as the shotgun that you're shooting right now. But like you said, it's just there's all kinds of articles about what you kind of round you should have, what kind of gun you should have for this or that, and really what it all boils down to is, can you shoot the gun and does it feel comfortable? Mm-hmm. Are you going to go to the range, wherever that is, if it's in the woods or if it's in your local, range? Are you going to go, and are you going to shoot the gun?
And not to go off on too much of a tangent here, because I feel like we're going off video right now, but it's important to remember that there is so much information out there. There are so many review videos, there are so many articles, there are so many statistics. You can lose yourself in that information, especially when you're looking for your first gun and you have very little personal experience to go on. Don't let that stop you from actually just taking the plunge and getting something and practicing, because ultimately the gun that feels right to you and that you enjoy shooting and that shoots well for you, that's going to be the right gun for you. And you can learn on that and you can gain more experience, and then you can move on from there. But don't get bogged down into I have to find the perfect gun that's going to suit me forever and ever and always.
Right.
This is the right gun for me, and it's made me very happy. And and here comes Carl's noises. But anyway, I'm very happy.
I don't do a very good job of staying quiet when Dory's trying
No.
to video our B-roll.
No.
But yeah, no, and that's exactly right. And so like, I'm in the market right now for a couple of other guns for various purposes, and just like everything else, the more you practice with a thing, the more you realize that there's not really a jack of all trades. Well, there are, right? There are guns that satisfy multiple purposes, but like with everything else, the more you learn and the more you do, you realize that, well, there are things that satisfy multiple requirements, but then there are things that do very specific things better than something else, right?
And there's no such thing as a perfect gun. There isn't really a jack of all trades. There's going to be a give and take no matter what. Something that is more stable is probably maybe going to be larger than you want for concealed carry, or something that has a bigger round for protection in the woods is not going to be the same round that you want for protection in a street situation. Whatever. There's always a give and take.
Right. And as far as that goes, I think, obviously I'm biased, but I think we did a pretty good job of selecting good first handguns for ourselves. I have a full-size service model 9mm Springfield XD. You have a compact SIG P320, but really they're the same size because it's kind of like ski slopes. It's each company dictates what a compact and a full size is, right? So my full-size 4-inch gun and your compact 3.8-inch barreled 9mm, they both hold 15 or 16 rounds. They're both basically the same size. So those sizes
don't
worked
think that's
for
an
us.
industry standard. It's like
Right.
if you buy a certain size in a pair of jeans in one company and you try to buy that size in a pair of jeans in a different company, if you're a female, it's not going to be the same, right?
So
it's not. There's not an industry standard.
So guns are the jeans of the female world, right?
That's fair.
It's a 2 for us.
Yeah, right. It's a 2 at Target is different than a 2 somewhere else. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, you just try it. Rent. Go to a range. Rent some
go
guns.
shooting.
Try a bunch of different guns. See what feels right for you. It could be very different from what you thought. This gun is not. If I had just been doing research, sitting in my office looking on the computer, this is not probably the gun I would have purchased.
Oh no, it just kind of happened, right? We just accidentally rented this one, and Dory was like, yeah, nope, I really like this one. The capacity's good. The weight is good to handle recoil. Not that she needs that, right? So don't for the women out there, don't necessarily allow someone to tell you that you need a small gun, because that's not true. The bigger the gun, the easier it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, not to throw shade at anybody. I know that people selling guns know what they're talking about, but at the same time, I did have the experience where almost every time I walked up to a counter and said I was looking for my first gun, everybody tried to sell me the P365, which is a great gun. It's a great gun, and I did enjoy shooting it, but just because I'm a woman shooter doesn't mean I need a tiny little
Yeah.
little gun.
It
wasn't right for me.
It's pretty poppy as a
It was
as a
pretty,
9mm.
poppy. Yeah. I actually am more comfortable shooting a more stable 45. I shoot it better.
That's because you're a badass.
But it's also because it's a larger, more stable gun, and I tend to shoot it better and more accurately than a poppy 9mm.
Yeah.
So just because it's small doesn't mean it's easier.
Right. So I think we're kind of getting to the end here. Do we miss anything?
We missed a lot of things.
Practice makes.
That's okay.
Yeah, practice
Hopefully
makes
this is still
habits.
helpful.
We're gonna have a part 2 coming up here pretty soon, and we'll try to be a little bit better about talking about things that are more important, technique-wise, I guess, and kind of what to think about while you're practicing.
Yeah, and just
that
things
sort of
we
thing.
learn along the way, and we'll get smarter, and hopefully, we'll help you get smarter along with us. So, this is to end. This is.
Yeah. So to end, here's the difference between an 8-shot target shot for a 12 gauge and a double-aught buck, which Dory had the express pleasure of seeing earlier about what it would do with her shoulder. But just to show things down a little bit, this is what it looks like out of the muzzle when a target shot gets shot. A little puff of smoke, not too bad. It's a 12 gauge, it is what it is. And then you get the double-aught buck.
A little different.
Little different. All right, thanks for listening, guys. We kind of rambled on a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. That's
Hopefully
just what we
it was
do.
helpful. Yeah, if you have any questions, of course, leave them in the comments. Let us know what more you would like to see, and we look forward to making more videos for you guys.
All right, see you soon. Okay, this is Shooting in the Woods, Part 1, Take 1.
Can we start over because I'm singing?